What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Phoenix here, and welcome back to a brand new Marvel Spider-Man 2 informational video. And in today's video, I want to discuss who we might see Kraven hunting in Marvel Spider-Man 2. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button down below. And without a doubt, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So this article comes from GameRant, and it says, Marvel Spider-Man 2 will feature Kraven the Hunter as a major antagonist, though it is unclear whether he will hunt Peter Parker or Miles Morales. Insomniac Games could draw from the long history of Kraven and Peter's rivalry in the comics to create an engaging story. If it wants to make Kraven an anti-hero, symbiote corrupted Peter would be a better target. Now, I do 100% think that at some point in the game, making Kraven an anti-hero would 100% work, because say if Peter runs into Kraven in the game while he has the black suit on, Kraven's going to realize that he's changed and that his fighting style is not the same, and he's going to be realizing that at some point Peter will be more of a challenge because he has the black suit on. And I feel like that would be an interesting case to be made for Miles as well, because of the fact that he has powers, and based on Miles' unique powers, I feel like that would be a way better idea as well. But fighting a symbiote corrupted Peter would be a better idea, because at some point in the game, Kraven's going to run into Peter with the black suit on, and Kraven's going to realize that he has changed over the course since the last time he fought him. So I feel like that would be an amazing thing as well. But following that, it says, while Peter may be a logical choice for Kraven's target, Miles' unique abilities and the opportunity for a fresh story make him a compelling option also. Assuming Venom's story is Peter focused, it also makes sense to pit Miles against one of the main villains. Now, I do see this being a possibility as well, because at some point in the game, say if Kraven is observing Peter and Miles fight from a mile away from his drone, he could honestly see that Miles is obviously fighting Peter and that Miles has a new ability. Thus, he could get rid of the symbiote from him as well, assuming, since for the fact that Peter will be fighting Venom, and Kraven's going to be more interested in fighting Miles just because of the fact that Miles has powers and he's the new Spider-Man on the scene. But following that, it says, the release of Marvel Spider-Man 2 is inching closer, and once the game debuts, fans of the Wall Crawler will likely waste no time flying through the story. Plenty are excited to see how Insomniac handles its version of Venom, what happens with Peter and the symbiote, and so on. However, the most interesting narrative choice could tie into Kraven, specifically which spider he chooses to hunt for. Now, this is a very interesting take, because we already know for a fact that in the game, it seems like Peter's going to be fighting Venom, obviously, and he's going to have a lot of problems controlling the symbiote. So I feel like him fighting Peter would not make sense. Now, this is the main reason why I can see Miles being the one that Kraven's going to hunt. Now, John Paquette at San Diego Comic-Con said that Kraven has seen the events of both Marvel Spider-Man 2018 and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Now, say he looked over the data over which Spider-Man he decides to hunt, and after that he goes to New York to fight him, and after that we have him fighting a 2-on-1, because we know Kraven loves a challenge, and through that he probably measures out their whole entire fighting style and see which one he wants to fight. Now, logically, it would make sense for him to fight Peter because of the fact that he has the black suit on, and he's going to be way more dangerous than what he saw in the footage, and for the fact that he's also going to be changing over the course of the game will make him want to fight Peter. Now, following that, it says, Insomniac has yet to fully confirm whether Kraven will be hunting Peter or Miles in the sequel, while it can be assumed that he will face off with both of the friendly neighborhood heroes at some point during Marvel Spider-Man 2. Either the original Spidey or the up-and-comer will likely be his primary target. Intriguingly, there is a good case to be made for Kraven's big rivalry with either Spider-Man, though one option would make a bit more sense than the other. Now, this is where this gets really interesting, because we all know for a fact that every single form of Spider-Man media, Peter has fought Kraven millions of times. But following that, it says, to make a case for Peter Parker being Kraven's main target, fans need only look to the long legacy of Marvel Comics where the two characters do battle. Time and time again, Peter has fought against the Hunter, from quick clashes in random issues to iconic story arcs like Kraven's Last Hunt. With an existing history to work with, Insomniac can pull in some of the best moments from the comics to tell a story that is guaranteed to work, which is what they're doing. But at the same time, like I said before, this is their fresh take on Kraven, and they feel as if Kraven's going to be coming to New York. It makes sense for him to be pitted up against two of the Spider-Men, and he could probably end up choosing which one he wants to fight at the end of the day. Because for me, at the end of the day, I personally do feel like at some point in the game, he's going to fight Miles. He's going to realize that Miles, the new upcoming Spider-Man, is going to realize that Miles has powers, and he is a way better hunt than Peter. But following that, it says, additionally, if Insomniac wants to take after Sony's upcoming Kraven film and make the character more of an anti-hero, Peter makes sense as his target. After all, fans already know that Peter will go too far while wearing the black suit, as the downside of bonding with the parasite is a loss of control. With this in mind, Kraven could be taking on Peter not only for a challenge, but also to protect the lives of innocents. Still, Miles feels like the better choice for Kraven's main foe. Now, I myself can see this happening with the fact that obviously we already know that Peter's probably going to go too far. Like, it's been there that he's going to go too far because it's been hinted at in the gameplay reveal trailer. It has been hinted at in the story trailer as well, for the fact that Peter is going to go a little too far. Now, once I do think that this could possibly happen is for the fact that Kraven could see Peter go a little too far, and Miles can hop in and pull Peter back due to his bioelectricity, and Kraven can see that, and he's going to be like, this Spider-Man is new and he has powers, and he's a way, way, way better, interesting Spider-Man than the other one. And Kraven will look at Miles as like this new Spider-Man that he can fight, and this is going to be an interesting hunt, way better than fighting Peter. But following that, it says, anyone who knows about the character Kraven the Hunter will know that he is motivated by competition, always seeking out the strongest fight possible. With the symbiote equipped, that may be Peter, but without it, Miles seems like the stronger of the two, thanks to his electric abilities and invisibility. Perhaps Kraven will begin hunting Peter, but shift his focus to Miles once the symbiote is removed, or after Miles has rescued Peter from the fight with Kraven. From there, he could kit his soldiers out with gear to nullify Miles' Venom Blast or spot him whenever he's cloaked. Now, with the fact that Kraven by now has probably analyzed everything about both Peter and Miles, there is a chance, and there's a huge chance for the fact, like in the trailer, we heard one of Kraven's hunters say this. Watch out for his new power! Now, there's also a fat, huge chance that Kraven also knows about Miles' camouflage ability. Now, you guys remember in Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, where certain Roxxon soldiers could sense where we went if we were invisible? Now, say if that happens to the point where Kraven now knows for a fact that they use that exact same tech and modified it to the point where he can sense out Miles. Another thing that they could do is nullify Miles' Venom powers along with that, because another thing that can go with that is for the fact that they were probably paying attention to the Roxxon soldiers and how they were fighting Miles as well. So that could be another thing that they could do as well. So at this point, it seems like Kraven's going to be pitted out with a lot of stuff that's going to be a huge counter for Miles as well. Following that, it says, additionally, having Miles as Kraven's main enemy could work for the opposite reason that Peter being the primary target would be ideal. While Insomniac Games would indeed have tons of comics to pull from if it pit Kraven against Peter, the studio has focused on telling original stories thus far. As such, it makes sense for it to do something new with Kraven and Miles having far less of an established history. Kraven versus Miles is something that will feel fresh as a result, which could make it more appealing for Insomniac and fans who feel burnt out on Kraven fighting Peter. I myself really do agree with this, because we already know at some point in the game, Kraven's going to fight Peter first, and then after that, he's probably going to see, like I said before, that Miles is the newest Spider-Man, and he has more powers than Peter, because Peter has a symbiote, and he's going to realize that Miles' fighting style and his abilities are well more equipped for a challenge. And with that, that could end up with Kraven versus Miles somewhere down the line. Following that, it says, lastly, it makes sense for Miles Morales to be put up against one of the game's main villains, assuming that Harry Osborn is Venom, like everyone thinks. Peter will have a deep emotional connection to him. As such, much of the battle with Venom and the story leading up to that moment will likely be focused on Peter. it makes sense to make the clash with other major threats more Miles-centric than as it creates a balance between the two characters. While both will have side villains to deal with, splitting the main threats evenly between Peter and Miles seems like a good idea. For that reason, Kraven having a deeper rivalry with Miles Morales makes sense, though it could end up going either way. Now, this is how I do think that's going to work out, because we can probably see Kraven observing with his drone. Keep in mind, as we know for a fact now in the trailer, Kraven has a drone. What if he uses that drone to watch Peter and Miles fight, and during the fight, he notices that Miles uses his Thunderburst, and through that, Kraven's going to be watching from afar, and he's going to realize Miles is the better prey than Peter. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you guys think that Kraven is going to gather information by fighting the two of them, and then off of that, he'll decide which one's the more interesting hunt? Or do you guys just want to see, Kraven fight them both one-on-one? But without a doubt, it's been your boy Phoenix, and I'll see you guys later on a spectacular, Spidey, webtastic banger.